Do you feel depleted, or do you feel like you have to do, like, the universe is constantly, the world is constantly demanding more and more and more of you, and you feel like you just can't do enough to stay ahead? Do you feel like there's just so much to do and you can't do enough, to stay ahead? There's no way it's humanly possible to do all the things that you feel like you need to do or that you want to do. Let's talk a little bit about that today, because I've been sitting here thinking a little bit about God's grace. And I want to talk about how when we feel like the universe is demanding too much of us, or like we can't do enough and it's all too much, about how it's so helpful to kind of tune into this energy of God's grace. I follow a coach who talks about how she does everything that she can in this world. She's a manifestation coach, and she talks about how a wealth empowerment coach, let's call her, and how she does everything in this world, does everything she knows to do in order to make the manifestation happen. And then she, basically she does everything in this world she knows to do. And while I love her and I love her teachings, I don't know that I necessarily agree with that, because that sounds like a very exhausting place. It sounds like an exhausting thing to do. How could I possibly do everything I know to do in this world? There's not enough time in the day to get my manifestation. There's not enough time in the day. And I kind of had this shift today. I had been feeling pretty depleted recently. Over the weekend, I did some social things. Again, every time I do anything social, I'm like depleted. That's just my personality. But anyway, so I've been feeling a little depleted recently, and I'm like this feeling of being behind, like I can't do enough, or there's too much to do. And I couldn't figure out where this was coming from, like heaviness, a heavy feeling upon me. And today I've really shifted into this feeling of God's grace, and I understand what it means. And so we're going to talk more about it. So if we talk about the definition of grace, and I have another video that I talk about God's grace, and I feel like it's not in a very, I don't define it very well in the video, but it was another feeling that I had where I just kind of experienced it. It was where I experienced everything kind of working out, in my life in a way that I don't feel like I did anything to deserve it. And it's interesting because I was talking to a client earlier this morning as well about getting her belief behind, like, she feels like she has to do more and more and more to earn her manifestation, and getting this belief behind, like, we are worthy. Like, why do we feel like we have to do more and more and more things to earn God's love or to earn a manifestation? Like, we are worthy now. We don't have to do more and more to prove that we are worthy of anything. Right? I mean, that being said, I do believe the universe wants things from us. It doesn't want us to completely do nothing, but it doesn't necessarily have to be the things you think that need to be done in order to get what you deserve. It's more like living your life. I was trying to explain this to my client too. It's more like living your life from a place of worthiness, from a place of self-love, from a place of everything, the universe has my back, the universe is for me, living your life from this place. And then you just kind of naturally do the things and that lead to the manifestation. So, and I can still identify this thing in me that wants to work to exhaustion, that feels like I need to work to exhaustion. I still feel that in me. And can you relate to this? Like, do you feel like this drive to work to exhaustion? I don't feel like that's what God or the universe really wants from us. Like, there's no way that's what God or the universe wants from us. I do believe what the universe, God, I talk about the universe and God, but like, I believe God created the universe. So I also tend to use the terms interchangeably. What I feel, but I am kind of talking about different things when I say the universe or for God, but that's not what this video is about. So let's not get into that. But I do believe the universe wants us to be whole, healthy, complete. That's not working to exhaustion, right? The universe wants us to be good, wants us to be healthy, wants us to be whole. So this idea of like work till exhaustion, like work, that's coming from the ego, right? That's coming from society. That's coming from somewhere else. So we don't need to work to exhaustion. Now, when I first started, first of all, as a therapist, my boss used to say, okay, so figure out how much money you want to make, figure out how many clients you need, a day or a week or whatever to make that money. And then if you don't have the clients, say I needed to make $300 a day. So that would be like, okay, so whatever. I don't want to get into like specifics of prices, but say I need to see a certain amount of clients a day in order to make the money that I needed, right? Or that I wanted. So if I didn't, say it was 5 clients a day. If I wasn't seeing 5 clients that day, he said, go ahead and do the work, like work to advertise yourself during that hour, during that free hour that you have. So if you have 5 clients a day, just work, see your clients, and that's it. If you have like 3 clients that day, then work 2 hours to advertise, to promote yourself. Okay, so that was his way. So there's nothing wrong with that way of doing it. And I think that can work, that way of doing things. But recently I realized, like, no, I feel like what we need to do is just do enough. Know that I do believe God, the universe, wants us to take action, wants us to do things, right? But let's get into this vibe of I've done enough. God's grace takes care of me. God does the rest. I've done my part. I've done enough. I don't work till exhaustion. God does the rest. And when I'm doing this, it really works. And it's about tuning into this God's grace, to this belief, idea, feeling of God's grace. God's got me. The universe has my back, right? I do just enough today. God takes care of the rest, and God gives me more than I deserve. God gives me more than what my actions deserved. You are worthy. You are worthy. You don't have to do anything to prove anything to be worthy in God's eyes, to be worthy to the universe. You are an extension of the universe. You are the universe. So you are already worthy. So do your thing. Do enough. I've done enough. And now it's in God's hands. And my other video where I talk about grace, it's like grace is this place between where you are, like I've done enough, and then God does his part or her part, right? So I trust I've done enough. The universe takes care of me. God takes care of me. And I'm talking about, in this instance, I'm kind of talking about money. Like I've done enough to earn, but it could be anything. It could be anything you want in this world. I've done enough today. Let's not work to exhaustion anymore. Okay, so I hope this was helpful today. My name is Elizabeth Cermak. I'm a psychotherapist and coach here to help us bring the vertical into this world, help us connect to inner peace. And hopefully this video has helped you feel more peaceful and know that you've done enough and that God's grace, God will take care of you. God will provide. Okay, go ahead and subscribe if you want more videos like this, and I will talk to you soon. This dog trusts perfectly that she has done enough to be loved.